Every shot you make is one less that I have to do.
Caitlin Clark is about to outshine the WNBA's ratings, blindfolded, thanks to her long-awaited Dude Perfect collab, which just dropped and is already going viral. The timing couldn't be better for her fans, or worse for her critics. While Caitlin's currently sidelined with an injury, the WNBA is struggling with declining attendance, buzz, and momentum. And this video? It's a masterclass in contrast. The views are climbing fast, proving what fans already know, even if the old guard and parts of the media won't admit it. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA. Maybe it's time the league welcomed her fans instead of pushing them away.
And that's the worst part of all this, is the new fans are sucking the life out of the WNBA right now. It's just the truth.
What happens while Caitlin is sidelined could reshape the future of the WNBA and directly impact how players are paid for years to come. The stakes are much higher than many want to admit. And this Dude Perfect video, beyond being wildly entertaining, it's pouring a truckload of salt into the wound. Let's dive in and check out some of these insane shots. But first, if you're hyped to see Caitlin's trick shots, like this video and subscribe for more Caitlin Clark updates.
Which one went in?
3, 2, 1.
A few months ago, this teaser dropped on YouTube, and it exploded. The moment Tyler nailed a deep shot from the stands with Caitlin Clark watching sparked a full-on frenzy. It pulled in 13 million views in just a few days, and ever since, fans have been counting down to see what Caitlin would bring in the full video. And now, we finally know. This video features over 50 kinds of three-pointers, aka Caitlin Clark's specialty. But she's not just putting on a clinic, she's introducing herself to a massive new audience. Like everything Caitlin touches, this collab is huge for the WNBA. Here's why. Dude Perfect isn't just a popular YouTube channel, they're sports YouTube royalty. With over 18 billion views and more than 60 million subscribers, they actually have more followers than the NBA's official YouTube. They're mainstream, family-friendly, and absolutely dominate with younger sports fans. Exactly the casual but high-potential audience the WNBA desperately needs to reach. Five Caitlin has already proven she can draw a crowd. Just look at Fever Games. They've become family events packed with parents and kids. So when Caitlin Clark appears in a Dude Perfect video, it's not just a fun cameo. It's a gateway for millions of potential new fans. People who may have never even considered watching a WNBA game are suddenly curious and willing to give it a shot. And this hits differently than a Nike billboard or a State Farm ad. This is long-form content, and Dude Perfect is best in class at it. No matter how famous the guest, they treat them like friends. They laugh, goof around, and have fun. That's the magic. Alongside the jaw-dropping trick shots, their audience gets to really know Caitlin on a fun, personal level. That kind of emotional connection, a 30-second commercial could never compete. So when Caitlin's out there doing stuff like this,
oh, he's done it. He's done it.
she's growing the game in a way no traditional WNBA promotion ever could. To really understand the scale of this moment, just look at past NBA collaborations with Dude Perfect.
You sure about that?
Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo!
Their videos with stars like Steph Curry and Luka Doncic have racked up 15 to 20+ million views, and that's just the main uploads. That doesn't even count the shorts, reaction clips, and highlights that flood social media afterward. These aren't just YouTube videos. They're part of internet sports culture. Now, sure, some people will argue that a WNBA player won't pull the same numbers as an NBA star.
Out of women's basketball, for a horrible team when she arrived, outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close.
Caitlin pulled in 1.3 million viewers for an exhibition game. She's outselling top NBA stars in jersey sales. Her 2025 regular season games, breaking records left and right. Don't worry, I'll get to those juicy numbers in a second. So, if the haters think this collab won't be massive, they're in for a rude awakening. This is exactly the kind of mainstream culture-crossing content that cements Caitlin Clark's superstardom.
Next on the team, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is widely seen as the most popular athlete in America. And this Dude Perfect video? It's almost guaranteed to pull in tens of millions of views. Why? Because it's not just curious new fans getting their first real glimpse of Caitlin. It's also her loyal supporters watching on repeat. Where Caitlin goes, they follow.
So this is being reported like wildfire, and it has just broken that Caitlin Clark is out with a left quad strain.
Caitlin Clark played in the Athletes Unlimited Pro-Am. Ticket sales didn't just rise, they exploded, jumping to 12 times the usual rate. Every time she shows up somewhere, the WNBA gets free promotion and millions of fresh eyeballs. The Dude Perfect collab is the same effect, just supercharged. And the timing couldn't be better, at least if you're a Caitlin Clark fan. For her critics, though, this is a nightmare, because it's about to magnify the massive miscalculation they've made, and it's all playing out in real time.
I can personally confirm the pronounced change in interest in Fever games without Clark. A week ago, I bought 4 tickets on StubHub to take my sports-playing nieces to the Fever Mystics game in Baltimore. The tickets in the same row are now less than half of what I paid.
Caitlin Clark, as you know, is sidelined with a quad strain. Normally, a star missing a few games wouldn't be a huge deal. And to be fair, she's already out there casually draining threes in practice, so she's clearly on the road to recovery. Nothing to panic about. But the league, the WNBA, is definitely feeling the impact.
The ticket prices have fallen more than 300% in less than 2 days.
Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, from $86 48 hours ago to $25. And by the time June 7th rolls around, it might cost you a bag of Skittles and some Lay's potato chips to get in there.
Ticket prices for Fever games immediately dropped the moment Caitlin was ruled out, even for their big rematch against the Sky. It sent a clear, undeniable message. Fans aren't coming for the logo, the team, or the league. They're coming for her.
319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records.
These were tickets that were selling for hundreds of dollars, all because of Caitlin. The Sky even moved the game to an NBA arena to handle the demand she generated. Now that she's out, ticket prices have tanked. That's a massive red flag. Last year, Caitlin Clark single-handedly fueled the WNBA's attendance boom. Without her, that momentum vanishes just as quickly as it appeared.
The Storm vs. Wings gave you 339,000. The most watched WNBA game on NBA TV that did not involve Clark or the Indiana Fever. 339,000. WNBA hasn't seen any growth when it comes to the non-Caitlin Clark games.
And it gets even worse for the league, because it's not just ticket sales taking a hit. Now, the WNBA is facing a full-blown ratings crisis.
It is the highest peak of any game. It is the second highest viewership, which is like average viewership. However, it was the highest peak of any game ever on CBS.
Games without Caitlin Clark are pulling in modest, some might say disappointing, viewership numbers. Meanwhile, Caitlin's games are smashing it, doing this.
The players can't sit down at a collective bargaining table and say, we demand more because you're not giving us enough money. Because if Caitlin Clark is the only driver of your business, guess what? Not sustainable. Not CBA change-worthy.
Fever's game against the Liberty peaked at nearly 3.3 million viewers. That came right after the Sky Fever season opener, which averaged 2.7 million viewers, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. Now, with that contrast in mind, picture Caitlin hitting 30 million views on Dude Perfect, mostly new fans, while WNBA games are pulling in what some might jokingly call ESPN Pro Cornhole numbers. Okay, maybe it's not that bad, but that's exactly how it feels by comparison. And this isn't just a short-term blip. Even if this gap lasts only 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to change everything for WNBA players.
If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of conversation here lately about a potential walkout. What are your thoughts on that?
And it's something that we're talking about internally, like, to, be prepared for. Of course, no one wants that situation to happen, but I do feel like there's some topics that we have in mind that, we have to stand strong in what we believe in too. We have to stand up for what we feel is right and what we feel we deserve. And so while we don't want that situation to happen, of course, I think we're prepared for any possibility right now.
Players opted out of the CBA to negotiate a better deal, fully aware they wanted to capitalize on the Caitlin Clark effect, the ratings surge, packed arenas, and sponsorships flooding in. But when they spoke about it publicly, there was a noticeable bravado in their tone. This was earlier this year when the players were riding high. Caitlin Clark had skyrocketed every growth metric, and they believed the leverage was finally theirs. They were ready to play hardball, demanding better pay, more benefits, the whole package. It was as if they and their fans saw Caitlin as the natural next step in an already upward trajectory.